Alright everyone, we are back this week for another episode of Arrow titled The Return. Many of us have been eagerly anticipating this one in particular due to the fact that fan favorite Slade Wilson will be returning, as the title suggests. But ultimately it wasn't in the capacity that we had hoped. The title is, symbolic of Oliver and Thea's journey that they take back to Lian Yu, which was actually a return to a familiar home for Oliver himself. And I liked pretty much every scene between the two of them on the island because they got to just really talk and just be like siblings around each other and just be themselves without all the chaos of Starling City. Now, the flashbacks were also really relevant this episode, and they gave us a lot of insight into exactly what the supporting cast went through during the 5 years that Oliver was actually gone. And we got to see Tommy in sort of a brotherly figure to younger Thea, and I really like that because I did like Tommy in season 1. I mean, sure, he had his moments and stuff like that, but overall I thought he was a great character, and it was sad to see him go. And but it was cool to see sort of the backstory about like what he did while Oliver was gone and how much he actually appreciated his friend. And we also learned that the reason for Malcolm sending them to Lian Yu was to test their skills in combat against Slade, whom he actually releases himself. So I thought that was kind of interesting, Malcolm turning the tables again and just pretty much showing everyone that he only cares about himself and just doing what he feels is necessary. Now, Merlin ultimately wants to see if Oliver has lost his sort of killer instinct, which as he describes is necessary in the final fight against Roz. And I won't spoil what exactly happens, but I'd recommend watching the episode. And overall, I did like this episode a lot. I mean, sure, it didn't really move along the major story along, but it did allow for a lot of character development between Thea and Oliver, and hopefully a step towards her suiting up at some point as Speedy, because she did finally agree to sort of help Malcolm, but not be his daughter. I think she finally cut that ties to him, so I thought that was cool. And she does trust Oliver a lot, so maybe she will be suiting up as a vigilante at some point, possibly in season 4. And just one final thought: when Slade does eventually return again, I'd like to see him as part of the Suicide Squad on this show, or at the very least in his armor on some kind of like mercenary assignment. And I'd rate this episode an 8 out of 10, and as always, this is Nick signing off till next week, guys.